Kish.
Sure. Let's do it.
Hi there, I'm Joe. I am the co-founder of TradeStrike and currently the main developer of the Strike coin. And I'm just going to pass you over to my friend Kish here.
So I'm Kish. I'm also a co-founder, and I'm handling all the creative direction of the business.
Good stuff. Well, this is our first AMA, so we've taken the decision to pre-record it, mostly just so we can make sure we're getting everything right and we're getting the content out that people want to hear first off. For people that don't follow us and engage with us every day, say on the social channels like Telegram or Discord, we're just going to go basically just a quick brief of what our vision is and how we're planning to get there. And then we're going to go into the Reddit post where we've asked our community to kind of just put forward the questions they want answering most. And we'll try and go into some detail and have a conversation as the co-founders amongst ourselves, really, just to shed some light on it. Cool. Is that okay for an intro? I don't know.
I'm sure that's fine. I think first we should address the same criticisms that we get. I think because that kind of provides an overview. You know, the fact that people think that this is just a concept, and the comment that Trading 212 is not run by 5 people.
Yeah, true. Cool. Yeah, well, it's a valid point, and I think people that don't understand or have not necessarily looked into what we're trying to do. So we're not trying to build an infrastructure from scratch. We're just trying to utilize upcoming technology through the use of ledger providers. I don't think that there's any other project at the moment that's aiming to do what we do. I know tokenization is a big buzzword at the moment, and there's a lot of projects that are trying to utilize the technology, but it's not in any complete or one place. A lot of it is they are adding it to an existing platform like Binance with their tokenized stocks. I don't think from all the research I've done, I can't see that there's anything like it. There's a big rise in infrastructure and ledger providers that are crying out for platforms like us to use what they've provided, but as of yet, it's really, really an underdeveloped market space.
And the thing about what that comment that kind of threw me was that at some point it probably was just an idea just from that one person, and that's really all it takes. We're a community driven project. We're still at the ground level. Our envision of this is obviously we'll have the large departments, we'll have a dedicated R&D team, we'll have a large customer service department. But all of these things, they have to start from somewhere. No one's just going to drop on the planet with millions in funding.
No. Well, it's like we've said before. You don't start a business with a fully funded R&D team and then come up with an idea.
Yeah,
it would be nice, but it's not how things are done. Having an idea and having the means to get there, that's what we've got. We know how we're going to get there. We know what we need. It's just step by step, taking down these barriers that are in place, and just working our way towards the goal. We've got a clear vision, and it's so achievable. But what we need is the support of a community to help us grow, because we want to grow as a community. Because at the end of the day, the whole vision is to have a platform that everybody wants to use. Because we've seen it. There's obviously, mentioning no names, I'm not going to mention other trading apps that have performed poorly at the turn of the year, but they have a monopoly. They have a monopoly on brokerages and customers. They piece together a nice UI. People want to use the UI, but it has terrible performance and unethical performance. And the ability to utilize blockchain with a decent UI and give it to the community that everybody wants to use, that is achievable, and it's going to happen sooner or later. And we want it to be us, and it can be us.
Yep. Which I guess leads on to the next one. and anyone can make a token and a website, which it's correct. And that's basically what we've done. Every day we're building this project up, we're continuously adding holders. But that's because, there's a clear gap in the market for this type of product. If everyone, had the same energy to help us deliver this platform as they do to invest in, questionable meme coins with body parts and body fluid names, we would have already been in a position to start. We would have had the developer, we would have been onto the prototype, we would have been on the larger exchanges by now.
Yeah. Well, I think we've both said staying power is a big thing in this market. We've only been around we're going into our 5th week, but 4 or 5 weeks in the BSC space is huge, because the amount of coins where people have just developed a token and launched a website, waited for their price to peak and rug pulled, is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. But staying power, the more the steps we take one by one to prove people wrong, and we're still going to be here, still going to be working, I think that's going to really help gain trust.
It is.
Yeah.
So the other thing was, people questioning that we don't have any financial backing. Yeah. So what was your response to that?
I mean, in terms of financial backing, the first thing we done to raise any sort of funds at all was to open up a private share offering to our community. Not traditionally the done thing, but once we've launched the token, we've started to build a community. We wanted to give the community, the people that backed us from the very beginning, the chance to buy in and own the company altogether. If we wouldn't really be a community-driven company if we then just turned around and said, "Oh no, hang on a minute, the community can't own the platform. It's going to be going to some big investors." So that's why we wanted to open it first to the community. The trouble there is that it's not sustainable. Obviously, we're constantly going to be looking at ways to build more of a pot basically to work from and develop from. So what we've been doing, and I've already started doing, is we've applied for countless grants. The space we're working in is good, it's great right now for grants. Any disruptive technology, again, we've mentioned it, tokenization, big buzzword. People want these businesses to succeed because they're revolutionary. It's akin to the dot-com bubble of the 90s. There's a lot of excitement. So getting grants is something we're hopeful to be able to take us to the next step of start developing. And grants aside, again, we've contacted many tech funds, investors. It's all a case of time. You can't rush people to invest in us. People want to do their due diligence. We have our pitch deck. We're open to Zoom meetings and calls. There's meetings scheduled. It's, again, 4 or 5 weeks. Whilst it's a lifetime in the crypto world, it's not a lifetime in the investment world. We can't rush people to make their decisions. And I think with the content and the idea and the vision that we've delivered and we're showing these investors, they're interested. I'm getting replies. We're not being blanked by them. They're interested. People are interested. But again, we have to proceed with caution there. We don't want to just jump into the first bit of money that's thrown at us. We don't just want to say, "Yeah, we take it. How much of the company do you want?" It's not the way to do business. And I think proceeding with caution is the best way there.
Yeah, and from my perspective, like that, the private share offering, it was a fantastic idea. Takes the burden off the coin and opens up more opportunities for funding. The other thing is it redistributes the power towards investors. So I love it. I've been speaking to a few big wallets. They've shown interest, but I think they're waiting for this AMA to kind of gauge our abilities before they commit. We'll see.
Fair enough. Well, again, a good investor does their due diligence. Again, I didn't. Like I said, you just touched on it. Then a lot of coins tokens that have come into the BSC space this year, aside from the joke coins, the meme coins that have no use because they're popular and they're out there. But in terms of coins or tokens with a purpose and a project, a lot of them basically their token is a route to market in the sense it's a financial route to market. Ours is a route to market in the sense we want to build the community. We want to have a community ready to use the platform when we deliver it. What we didn't want to do, and we soon realized is not the thing to do because it harms the community, is start selling off coins to raise money for the projects, because the projects will get done quicker, the development would be done quicker, but at what cost? And it will be at the community's cost. And it's not something that I was prepared to do. And neither were you, Kish, were you?
No.
It doesn't seem right to me to go down that route.
No. And that's the thing that that kind of intertwines with the question that we had about the next bull run unfolding. There was a question about how our coin might perform. Like as you said, we're trying to make this a community-driven project, and our coin's use is tied heavily into the platform that we're making. That's not a concept that a lot of companies actually have.
No, we're not relying on hype.
No.
So in a bull run, if our token's got a use and it's being used and that platform's out, bull run or not, it will do good. When a bear run, is that called a bear run?
Bear market, I think. Bear market,
yeah. when a bear market comes, utility coins they don't tend to suffer as heavily because they're being used. They're not reliant on hype.
Yeah, I'm like, when you speak to members of the community, they're kind of actual investors. They're kind of using this coin as if they were actual shares in the company as well.
Yeah.
So it's being funded by like-minded people. They understand that they might be helping to deliver something that they themselves could use in the future. With the level of engagement that we've had through being transparent and generally wanting to make a difference, I think this is actually going to push everyone to keep holding. So I'm not actually worried too much about that side of things. But the share offering, it eased my mind a lot more because it does open up a completely different lane.
It does. Well, one thing as well worth pointing out is that TradeStrike was founded before StrikeCoin. Before we had decided to launch a token, TradeStrike was already registered. It was already an idea. What we've done is capitalize on the most exciting route to market for tech startups with launching tokens. And it's basically, it opens doors where they wouldn't have been there before. Yeah. You build the community, you talk to different investors, different professions. So that's why the kind of the two have paired. In my thing, it's the best way possible, the best way we could have done it, and the best way we could get this product to market.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing. There's so many misconceptions with this project. Like it kind of actually hurts. We're trying to build something for other people to be using. We're not just doing this for ourselves. Every decision that we've made so far, and after we've become a successful and established business, it will be completely centered around the community. It will be for the people. I mean, we're not creating a charity token, but we're still going to be changing people's lives. The average person doesn't even know about investing. They're just so focused on working 9 to 5s. And this year in particular, I've not spoken to a single person, that's dealt in stocks that hasn't been stung to the unethical behavior from these platforms.
Yeah.
We're going to be creating something that essentially creates a level playing field, and nobody knows the target audience better than the target audience, which is us.
Yeah.
And in my mind, the motivation for this platform is kind of threefold. One, we want to see this vision become a reality. Me and Joe, we're quite similar. We have an obsessive work ethic, and this is a chance to turn, the idea of investing into a globally accessible tool. Anyone, anywhere can be able to do it. Two, we have a lot of people backing us that, through week one that might have dropped out otherwise. They've stuck behind us because they believe in us, which I think is enough motivation to just keep moving on. And three, which is kind of selfish, but we're investors ourselves, so we want a great platform to use for ourselves. Nothing we've seen so far has met any of our requirements. And these existing companies that have all this large capital to invest into better development, there's no user-friendly trading platforms that are built just for us. everything that exists is set up in a way that actually benefits the makers of it and the big players. It's nothing is aimed towards the retail investor, which is where we come in. So I'll also have a list of tasks that we've completed so far this month that people might not be aware of, and also have a list of objectives. Did you want to go through those, or did you want to make our way through the questions first? Or
well, should we go through the questions first? Just get the questions done, then we can kind of go into what we've done and what the future is really.
Okay.
I think we want to know the short-term plans as well.
Okay. Well, so the first one, some of these are going to make you like cringe a little bit. So do you honestly see this being a success? Will the roadmap be stuck to plan, considering there's a heavy workload, yet only the two of you doing this project? How would you answer that?
Well, I think as far as the roadmap goes, I mean, at the moment, we're ahead of the roadmap. Any doubts or worries, people thinking that we're claiming that we're going to do this by ourselves, we would have no hope of doing this by ourselves. What we're doing is we're really every step we take, there's going to be another requirement for a different profession, a different skill, and we're just going to recruit as and when we need them. It keeps us streamlined, and also it helps create trust in what is a very nervy and shaky market, because there's so many scams and rug pulls out there. I saw a token the other day launching on pre-sale that had 26 wallet addresses before the pre-sale. You don't need a big team to start. You start, you have your core elements, you have what you need, you have trust, you gain trust within the community, and then you step by step, we expand with the community's help. People where we don't know hundreds of people in multiple professions, but building the community, we have people offering us work, saying, do you need this? Do you need that? Do you need a back-end developer? Do you need a blockchain engineer? It's like, yeah, we'll need all of these things in time. And we've got every offer of help we've had and work we've had, we keep hold of their details because we're going to need them.
Yeah. I did feel that was a bit of a troll question because, we wouldn't be dedicating all of our time and risking our reputation unnecessarily for something we didn't believe in.
No, it would be very pointless.
This project is something like incredibly dear to us, and it should be to anyone that's been the victim of underhanded tactics that we've seen in the past year. For me personally, while the coin is fantastic and it's incredibly practical idea, but when you break it down to the bare bones, it's just a route to market. Whether it's the coin, whether it's selling shares, whether it's me and Joe getting a third or fourth job, as long as we're with each other, we'll deliver by any means, period. In terms of the second part of that question with the roadmap, I don't know why people think it's just going to be me and Joe changing the whole face of investing by ourselves. We have the vision and direction, but we're just two people. The plan has always been that we would expand the team. From my perspective, you would start with the development, you'd start with the marketing, you'd have some business development. But that will change along with the business. Both me and Joe will be leading and project managing the entire time. Our positions are that we'll be putting in place a team that we feel that will do both ours and the community's vision justice. But obviously the catch is that we need to get the coin to a particular place and secure the funding. Oh, and speaking on that, the team. So we also have mods that have actually taken a huge burden off us, handling some of the marketing duties and tending to the day-to-day responsibilities in Discord and Telegram, which we're very grateful for.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to them, maybe now. Absolutely brilliant. Yep. And working for free.
Well,
we actually all have been.
For now.
Play to them. For now, yes.
Yeah. So the second question is, how do the dev team envision the next bull run unfolding? Will there be scope for Strike to take part or utilize the upcoming Cardano, Smart Chain, and Polygon network tokens for trading? Or is this purely a T212 rival? I
think we answered the first part of that question regarding the crypto bull run.
Yep.
In terms of utilizing other networks, like we keep an eye on. At the moment, we're using BSC because it's I think it's 135 times cheaper than ETH for the gas fees. The growth of BSC projects month on month, even this year, is astronomical. So in terms of the best place to be for our token to be right now, it is on the BSC chain. For all its errors regarding, there's a lot of scam tokens and they're just absolutely everywhere. If you're utilizing it for what it's there for, it's unrivaled in my opinion at the moment. Until, like you say, was it Cardano they mentioned? The question. Yeah. I mean, we're keeping on it. They've launched their smart contracts this year. They've taken a long time doing so. But I mean, we're not going to jump in and go as soon as they've launched and say, oh, we need to switch over to Cardano, because you want to see how it unfolds. You want to see the uptake. What you don't want to be is to be the first person on that network and then looking around and asking where everybody else is with no investors using it. So if and again with ETH2 coming out, when they can sort out their gas fees, if everybody starts flooding back to Ethereum, then we'll have to reevaluate. But right now, I think BSC is the place to be.
So the next question: how much will fees be when transferring crypto around wallets and other cryptos?
No, again, that kind of it kind of does. One, so you've got your gas fees, so it just depends where gas fees are at that point in time. Once we have launched, we've got a viable product out there. In terms of fees as a source of income for the business, I don't think it's very early for me to say, because it's just speculation and everything could change. But I can't see that there being a need for excessive fees or fees at all just to withdraw your money, because the fees from trading platforms, they don't come from withdrawal of money unless you're the trading platform that cannot be named. Yeah, but I don't see a need for it purposely. So it will just be gas fees as it stands in my mind at the moment.
Yeah, and just on that, just highlight the proposal of the pricing plan that we sketched up in the investor pitch deck. I think the pricing is it's just an example, but I think it's quite fair, especially when you do a line by line comparison of what the other platforms are actually offering. We need to do more market research before we settle on anything. And, obviously the actual finalization of the platform, it could change things inside of development that we need to alter the pricing.
But I think the main thing with pricing is if we can be flexible with it. I think that's what people want, flexibility, because people trade differently. At the moment, there's all these brokerages, people use these online platforms. They use a one size fits all setup, and then that's not the case. There's too many different kinds of traders. So we want people to be paying fees that suits their needs, so they get the best deal out of it and get the best use out of the platform. And like you said, the fees at some sales will probably have to change from what we've put forward in our pitch deck as an example, but the underlying thesis behind it, that we're going to be flexible, will remain.
Yeah, I think the one thing that it does show is that we're trying to be the people's platform. Everything will be completely based around the community. Next question: when are we going to get a listing on a major exchange?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we got our offer from Whitebit very, very early on. That offer's still there. It's on the table. It's a large listing fee, $60,000. In terms of when it's going to happen, I'm in no rush. I'm not going to pull every bit of funding we can get and put it all onto one listing. As the community grows, so will the ability to fundraise to pay for such listings, but also the cost of listing comes down the more popular your project is. Some exchanges will list a token even for free because they want that token on their platform. I'm not saying we're aiming for that, but what I'm saying is we need to be more coy with how many eggs in the one basket we're actually going to put, because I don't want to put all of the money we have right now into Whitebit purely because we have other things that we need to spend our money on in terms of the platform. They need to be in sync with each other. There's benefits behind big listings. Of course there is. We've got a lot of room to grow on PancakeSwap. I know it is a pain. Don't get me wrong, it is a pain. If you're not used to using it, it takes some doing to learn how to trade through PancakeSwap. But there's enough people out there. You've only got to look at the meme coins that just, named after, like Kish said, named after various body parts with certain planetary bodies as well. Yeah. Some of these, they've got market cap. They're only traded and available on PancakeSwap. And some of these have got market caps 20 times bigger than us. We have a lot of room to grow. So I'm not in a rush at all to
I think we're very much in the middle of the road on this one, because on one hand, it's understandable that Strike Coin needs to be accessible to the wider audience, but the fees are something to take into account. What I recall was SafeMoon, they had 30,000 holders before they started to discuss it. And it would offer a large marketing push, but it needs to be considered whether we would be better off putting that fund to better use. We've earmarked I think it's 30,000 so far towards the fundraisers from the share offering, but we could also be using that to give us access to better contractors, to build a prototype, which in itself could get us more investors, especially if they see the progression of the actual platform taking shape. But what I wouldn't want to do is set aside all this capital for this fundraiser, for this Whitebit, and it actually not pan out very well. It would just be a waste of that money when we could have made better use of it, especially when we're still under 5k holders right now.
I think any decisions with funding, anything to do, obviously the donation pot, that's what it's there for. That will be used for the Whitebit fund. And we have agreed, like you said, to take some money from the share offering when it closed to top up that pot. And again, I'm still happy to do that and committed to do that. But I mean, again, it's something we're going to want to engage the community with. And again, we can make our minds up, both me and you, Kish, but we want to be able to make sure what we're doing and where we're spending this money is agreed on with the community, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We all want it to succeed. So more minds on it, it's going to have a better outcome.
Okay, so the next question, what skills, knowledge do you and Kish bring? My worry is that a couple of early 20-ish year olds. Okay.
That's a good one. I like it.
Do you mind if I answer this one first? I tried to be as diplomatic as I can be. Both Joe and myself, we're over 30 years old. We're both fathers. I have another kid on the way this year, and I'd say we're kind of dedicated family men. Even though my wife doesn't appreciate me staying up to AM to work on this project, and I'm sure Joe's in a similar situation in his household. Why that narrative exists, I'm not understanding of it, but we've shown that we have more staying power than most would be capable of. We haven't backed down even slightly. We have the ambition to make this a reality. In terms of skill sets, we either have an unhealthy obsession for development, or we've had a direct hand in developing products that have actually made it to market. Personally speaking, I've ran projects from website development to product sourcing and manufacturing. I've been part of teams that have worked on cloud-based infrastructure, and any of these things aren't any more complex than anything else that you would train for and spend time on learning. I feel that me and Joe, we make a great team, and seemingly by the will of the universe, we've essentially become two sides of the same coin. Joe is the tech head that knows how things work or can figure it out just immediately. I'm more of the doodle head that knows how to package things and present things in a simple way. Where we are the exact same is that, we're both obsessed. We don't really stop. And I would say that the events of week one, it shows that we share the same work ethic, the morals and determination to see this through to the end. The proof of that would be that we've not sold a single coin, and we're not going to be doing any of that because we want to see TradeStrike succeed. Personally, I probably speak for Joe as well, but we'll ride the ship in whichever direction it heads in. And for all the qualifications that we said people are saying that we would need in order for this project to succeed, it wouldn't be possible that we got to where we are currently if it wasn't, if it wasn't impossible. Anyone that's made any sort of difference in the world has pulled themselves up off of people saying that things can't be done. Like me personally, if I'm being praised for the design work that I've made, but what if I were to tell you that I'm actually a uni dropout? Does that discredit my work? Does that mean that I have no chance in the real world? I've become a fairly successful designer of not having any qualifications. So as far as I see it, I've always been obsessed with making things that people love. It's just that I didn't like the path that uni was taking me down. So I found my own, and it's the same story again. We don't like the path that these companies are taking us down. So we're actually doing something about it. It's just, it really is as simple as putting in a little bit that you'd otherwise throw away on a night out. Or, you'd be throwing into these questionable meme coins. If you believe in us, invest. We might change the face of trading forever. If you don't believe in us, don't invest. But, don't for a second think that we're incapable of delivering. We're being driven by something bigger than the both of us. And every expectation for us to fail so far has been turned upside down because we're here for 4 weeks now. Sorry, ramble over.
Yeah, no, I was enjoying it. I was just staring there. 100%, Kish, 100%. Yeah, I mean, in terms of qualifications and what skill set you'd need to do this in its entirety, I don't think any one person, again, would be able to pull out their papers and say, here we are, I'm qualified in every aspect of launching a tokenized based trading platform. Those qualifications don't exist. The great thing about the market space we're moving into with the launch of BSC coins is that it's giving, I say young people, I'm in my 30s, that's young enough.
I thought you were 12.
Yeah. That's why I didn't have a shave, because I was scared people would think I was a child again. It's giving teams with people with an idea, a project. It's giving them that route to market and accessibility to the skills they need to pursue things that otherwise would not have been available to them. I mean, again, as much as we knock meme coins, SafeMoon, astronomical. They have over 2.5 million holders now. It's crazy, and they're just I'm not going to comment on the actual what they're launching, but they've launched a product. And a month ago, or the turn of the year, I guarantee you could not have interviewed any of their team and said, "Have you got the qualifications to put out a crypto exchange?" Because it wouldn't have happened. That's why this market's so exciting, and it's why it's going to produce the most diverse range of projects with people from all backgrounds putting out something that will change the face of technology.
Yep. Cool. The next question is, when CoinGecko listing?
No comment.
Yeah, maybe they're using Windows 95 and dial-up in their offices. How soon do you believe there'll be a more simplified way to buy Strike to make it more accessible?
Well, again, that goes back to the exchange, doesn't it? But I mean, I also think PancakeSwap, they're developing all the time. I think we put it in our pitch deck, how their trading volume's gone up 1,000%. They're not going to be resting on their laurels. I'm sure they'll make it more accessible in the short term.
Yeah. So the next question is two-part. I think it was just a cheeky person squeezing into. Holders of Strike coin, will they benefit with discounts such as those who hold BNB when on Binance?
In terms of when the platform's developed, I'm guessing.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So there's going to be holders of Strike coin will be able to benefit from the staking reward program that we touched on in our white paper. again, like many of these currencies, there'll be reward programs. In what shape or form they do turn into is yet to be decided, but we will obviously be having a staking reward.
I think we'll have those answers ready when we're actually in the development of the actual platform itself. We wouldn't want to promise something like huge and then U-turn. That being said, we're making this platform for the people. So if there's a way that we can reward holders without damaging the business, then we will absolutely do that. So the second part of that question is, would Strike be seen as the big step for the next gen coins and tokens in the next bull run?
I think you've answered these bull run questions.
No. So I think what they're saying is, I think what this person is saying is, will we be the equivalent of the next pancake swap?
In a sense, you could use it that way if you wanted to. You can, of course, you can. You could use it in exchange. I'd say pancake swap is more. They're more focused on the launch of tokens. And swapping of tokens. Obviously, we're going to be going down a completely different route in the sense that we're a trading platform. But if you want to swap tokens within the platform, it's going to be possible because, again, it's just another tokenized asset. If you want to trade it, you can trade it. I don't think we're going to be as every coin will be accessible on our platform. I don't like they would be in Pancake Swap, where you only have to launch a coin and fund a liquidity pool, and then you're on it. I don't think that we'll go down that route, purely because there's just going to be so many bigger tasks and benefits within the platform that we'll be focusing on. That being said, if smaller projects and tokens like we are at this stage now, if they want to be listed on our platform, of course we'll come to some sort of business agreement in which we'll have an actual template of what people need to provide for us to consider listing them. But no, I don't think we'd be in some senses, yes, but overall I don't think we could be compared to Pancake Swap. It's very different.
Okay, so the next question is, I understand the reason behind keeping the team small in early stages and expanding, recruiting, outsourcing for development work. My question is, do you have a tech spec, dev plan, tender drafted, and would you be able to share anything at this stage?
So in terms of how we're looking to build the team and who we're looking to recruit?
Yes, I think so, and what our plan is.
Yeah, so I mean, at the moment, our plan is, well, at the moment it's meetings with in terms of platform development, meetings with ledger providers. I think we've touched on this briefly. We're not planning on building an entire ecosystem or infrastructure from scratch. There are more and more ledger providers popping up that offer tokenization services. Some you can utilize all of their tech. We're not going to be needing that. Basically, what we're going to be doing is talking to these various ledger providers and pulling what we need from them to put on our platform to be able to package it and deliver it as a functionable trading platform. So yeah, the first step, which has already started, is talking to as many of these ledger providers as possible, finding out what they can provide and how much they cost. So in that aspect, that's being done. Equally, again, a lot of it does come down to funding. If we have a grant given to us tomorrow, we'd say, well, that's great, let's crack on with the prototype, let's crack on with the beta version, and we'll start recruiting back-end engineers, blockchain engineers, everything that we'll need at the time, we'll recruit for. And then, even I think Kish again mentioned it earlier, crypto marketing manager. We could employ one of those, but it's all down to funding and what stage we're at. And at the moment, we're at a very early stage with 3,800, I think, holders. The more we grow, the more we recruit, and the more detail we'll be able to give on what steps we're taking. But as it stands, we have started and we're making small steps. But again, we can't rush this.
I think that also ties into the second part of that question, which was about hiring someone for the marketing, because that's quite a key thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So the next question is, have you guys considered targeting influencers by offering shares or coins for their promotion? I'm thinking big here. For example, Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports with 2.5 million followers on Twitter, who is very vocal about hating trading platforms such as Robinhood.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, because again, I think we started early days. One of the first things we done was thinking straight away, we need influencers. And whilst they do have their place, it's a dangerous territory to go in the early stages, because there's nothing stopping those people from just taking the coins and selling them. And another thing we have noticed, even after 3 or 4 weeks, because we have paid influencers and we've tried various different areas of advertising and promotion, is kind of gauging what's actually effective, because there's been some things we thought would have been extremely effective, so we've happily paid some money for them, and in retrospect they were less effective than just a Reddit post. So again, it's something that we, again, as we grow, we'll continue to try to make connections and promotions. But I think in that question, I think it's right. It would have to be something big, paying anonymous Twitter accounts or anonymous YouTubers and stuff. I don't think that's the route to go. I think, yeah, when we have the finances and we've grown a bit, definitely look at the more popular and reputable influencers that could push this platform's audience further.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I personally, I would want to keep it as organic as possible, because everyone that is involved in this project, they should be an actual investor. What I found is that a lot of marketing activities that we've engaged in, they've actually ended up with a lot of people expecting like some huge run, which obviously isn't the case. This is a project that you probably want to stick around for quite a while. And with me, like, I would want to get as many like-minded, underdogs together as possible, rather than one big influencer. But whatever needs to be done, I guess. So next question is, aren't you guys worried that releasing the platform late 2022 will be too late? Isn't it crucial to be the first one releasing it?
I think we've both got views on this. I mean, I can start by saying, one, I don't think 2022 is going to be too late at all anyway. The area of tokenization, yeah, it's really hotting up, and there are a lot of companies, pre-existing big companies, that have started dabbling in the market and offering tokenized stocks, for example. The difference there is that they are still primarily crypto exchanges. They're not trading platforms. They're not user-friendly. So in that area of things, I don't think things will change, because I don't think that these successful billion-dollar turnover crypto exchanges are going to change their entire business just to cater for tokenization. In terms of how quickly you want to get something out, it's not. This is something that me and Kish agree on. You don't remember the first of a technology. You remember this. People aren't still using Napster. People aren't still using Bebo, MySpace. Yeah, they're successful. They were successful companies, but if you get something done right and people want to use it, it doesn't matter if you're the first one there or not. You just want to be the best.
Yeah, and like the example that I used is, if you think back to the iPhone, like it's not the first smartphone ever made, but it was the greatest variant of a smartphone that had been created until that date. Not to mention also that the nature of the product that we're creating, it has to be tried and tested. The development and the quality assurance, it's not something that we can rush through. Especially because we're dealing with valuable assets and people's hard-earned money. It needs to be done properly. So my thoughts are the exact same as Joe's. I don't think 2022 is late at all. So next question is maybe another holder giveaway.
Yeah, well, again, it's something that we're running all the time is holder giveaways. When we've got a $500 giveaway when we hit 5,000 followers. Last week we were giving away $50 every day. If you're not a member of our Telegram or our Discord groups, I'm often will pop up in there and just do a quick airdrop. But yeah, again, it's something that we'll continue to do. Giveaways are great. They're great for engagement, and they're a great way to reward holders.
Yeah, not to mention we seem to be doing frequent coin burns. The mods are usually running their own little small creative competitions as well. And we do have giveaways for especially when people promote us on social and stuff. So I think that's just you guys being cheapskates. You need to buy more Strike coins and stop asking for handouts. But yeah. What is the price prediction and what could we expect in the coming year? And then he's put $1 to $10 ?
Yeah, that will do. Either of those. I think as the co-founders, I don't think it's right to give price predictions on stocks or coins, but I don't think you need to look too far at comparative companies or tokens to see the price range that we'd be aiming for. Unless, just to say it's a long way from where we are currently.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect an immediate moon, but if you break this project down, we're set to change the landscape of investing, especially in the UK where there isn't a lot of choices. So I would say that is a big deal. I have no doubt we can reach some of those targets and potentially beyond. But as for the when, I think this is one of the projects that you probably want to be patient with.
So the project comes first, and the value will catch up with the project development.
Yes.
It's
100%.
No rush for us to be a multi-billion-pound market cap if we don't have the development alongside it. So what we will make sure we're doing is, as our market cap grows, as our holder base grows, so does the development of the projects. So we'll get to the stage where when we've hit, well, even if we were a tenth of what companies like Coins at SafeMoon are at, we'd be able to put out, we'd have the funds there, and then to put out the platform.
Yeah. So the next question is, what's stopping another company like Binance entering the space? If it was such a great idea, surely someone else would have or would be doing it.
Again, I think I answered that similar thing earlier, is that they are doing it. They're trying to do it. The benefit we have is that we're a new company, and we're just trying to package this technology into a trading app. We're not claiming that we're going to be the first people to do it or the last people to do it. It's an absolutely huge technology that's going to revolutionize not only stocks, crypto, forex, real estate. The possibilities are endless. So we expect competition. And in terms of people saying, oh, if it's such a great idea, why aren't other people doing it? They are doing it, and more people will.
And I welcome the competition, because at the end of the day, we'll just be creating better products. If you think about it in terms of cars, you don't see Mercedes stop making cars just because there's a Nissan around. And the other thing is these companies are established businesses. They have large pockets. You'd have thought that by now they'd already, they'd been on this with large teams that know how to map an interface fit for purpose. But both me and Joe were discussing this the other day. We've yet to see a crypto app that actually makes sense. It's easy to use. In terms of the new tokenized assets, these companies implementing, all the examples that they've just bolted onto the existing app. It's not a concise experience. And additionally, what sets us apart is that we're investors ourselves, so we know what the community wants and what they need. These corporations, they use external agencies to aid in design and development. So the input that they have into the projects is very impersonal. I guess in short, what I'm saying is, we're the target market because we're you. We know how you think and what you need. What are the reasons to choose Binance Smart Chain to launch the platform? There is Ethereum, but plagued with gas fees, but we have other alternatives like ADA, Neo, ZIL, DOT, etc. I think that's a you question.
Oh yeah, well, I think it's something that we've answered already about why we've used BCS. Obviously, there's other networks out there. Of course, there are. It's just that we've decided to. Well, it seems to be this year. It's the biggest catapult to the broadest market and the broadest audience. That's where everything's happening right now. And it's like I said earlier, it's 135 times cheaper in gas fees than Ethereum. The volume traded is on Binance Smart Chain is going through the roof. The figures match up to our thoughts. It's the hottest network to be in at the moment. It might not just stay the same, but right now for our project to get out there, it was the right fit for us.
The next question. I'm an 18-year-old investor. What can I do to be in your position?
Keep on investing and you'll be great by the time you're 25. No.
Yeah.
No, because he won't have to be using, he'll be able to use a TradeStrike. So it'll be a much better experience. But yeah, I don't really know.
It was a bit of a weird question. But I guess if by your position you mean launching a project like this, from my perspective, all you need is determination. Everyone thinks that they're an expert, but when these people say that something can't be done, it usually means that they don't know how to do it, and it usually means that they don't care enough to try. The determination to research and work with passion to the point of obsession, it will unlock any door. My occupation right now is proof of it. It doesn't matter if a door is closed that requires qualifications, experience, or whatever else. Your determination will blow hinges off that door. Are there any specific marketing activities or industry partnerships that you can elaborate on? Not we've got nothing signed and agreed with any third party. At the moment, like I said, we've got meetings scheduled and we're in contact with plenty of potential partners or investors. But again, it wouldn't be until those are over the line. We can't comment on the specifics there. Okay.
Sorry.
I have heard on a few occasions that TradeStrike team already have a product, but it's a case of making tweaks to it. And what does that actually mean in practice? How much development has been done and what stage is it at?
Again, I think overall we've answered this question. So we have not built the product yet. If we did, we'd be a hell of a lot further down the line in terms of funding and holders, that's for sure. But yeah, again, we're in the development early stages. So yeah, no, we more than a few tweaks, that's for sure.
What blockchain, if any, will the team utilize for the platform? How will the crypto coin interact with the platform? If it isn't blockchain based, what type of token will Strike be? I guess this is another repetitive question.
Yeah. Again, that's because again, it just depends on whether we still want to be a BSC token going forward, or again, and what ledger we end up using, what infrastructure, because that again, there's so many variants.
Yeah. Just on that, I think it's important to talk a little bit about the infrastructure, because this question keeps coming up. We know what to do and what the next steps are, and that involves holding meetings with ledgers and to be able to understand whether we want to actually use their infrastructure. A company that I worked for, we built cloud-based IP cameras, and they had a small development team of around 5 people, and yet the back end was actually built on someone else's platform. They used AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. This saved the business a significant amount of time and resources in the long run. So they cut their workload in half by doing that. Once we have an R&D department, which is very far down the line, I imagine that's when we'll be looking into developing our own. But for now, it would make more sense to use, what's already available. Was there anything else that you need to add to?
No, not really. Other than just echoing your thoughts on that. In terms of like unique selling point or owning the infrastructure, sure, that would be good. That would be great, but that would take millions and millions of dollars and push us extend our roadmap by another 5-10 years. The technology is there. The ledger services are there to be utilized. There's nobody utilizing these ledgers for what we're basically proposing. They're crying out to be used. Obviously, the big success story so far this year is the boom of NFTs. These NFT platforms, they're not built on their own infrastructure. 90% of them, they're using new ledger providers to tokenize artwork and sell. They're the platform. There's other than that, there's not anything else really like us that's in development. So
yeah,
the tech's there. We've got to use it. People care about the product. People want the product in their hand. They don't care about how that platform was developed, who owns the rights to the infrastructure. We need the product out. We need a functioning product out with a good UI that offers everything we're saying that it's going to offer. And the best way to get there, in our opinion, is by using an external ledger where the infrastructure is already in place.
Yeah, I think we need to also look at the business in two phases. That, we can look at building our own infrastructure. Like as Joe said, if it'll take between 5 and 10 years, that'll be far down the line where we can create our own platform and then monetize it by selling it to other companies as part of an OEM deal. That's not something that we should be really looking at now. So next question is, will there be a TradeStrike wallet that can interact with other blockchains and DeFi protocols? Is that even required or a consideration for access to different services?
Yeah, so I haven't really touched on the white papers that will be more than likely it will be our own in-house wallet. We're not ruling out the possibility of working with another company to help develop that. But in what shape that takes, that will be again down the line. But in terms of the capability to, was they asking whether you could withdraw onto different networks? I think that's the question.
Is that even required or a consideration for access to different services?
Oh, so no, not in terms of our platform services. So what we'll be looking to do in terms of wallet, in terms of the wallet build, would be that you can accept multiple cryptocurrencies on varying networks that can then be converted into Strike, basically. So then we can tokenize it through the ledger's infrastructure, with Strike coin being the measurement of the value. So it won't matter what cryptocurrency or what network you're using before you get to that point, because essentially it will be converted to Strike coin. But again, this is something we're going to have to work with developers when we're constructing a wallet, because if it becomes down the line that ETH's network is too expensive, or this network's too expensive with gas fees and blah blah blah, we wouldn't be then saying we wouldn't prioritize it. Basically, what we want is the quickest use, the easy use for the end user. So I can't see other than price for users. I can't see the transfer of different cryptos into the wallet being an issue.
So the last question, and I guess, is
probably cut that one out. That was too waffly.
No, it's fine. So the last question is Burger King or Mackie D?
Oh man. Burger King. I'm sorry.
Really?
Burger King.
Okay.
I do like a bacon double cheese XL. Pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, all I know is the Burger King chips taste like what I imagine the plastic fruit on the in-store IKEA display tables would taste like. So I'd say by default Mackie D. But yeah, I don't really understand this heathen question. I'm more of a Nando's gentleman myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's the question done. Did you want to run through objectives for the month, or should we wrap it up? Because it's been quite a while now.
How long has this gone for? I mean, I think I think we've got enough in there, to be honest, haven't we? With what we're continuing to do, I don't think we need a rundown.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe we just wrap it up now and just say, please don't sell your coins.
I'm keeping everything in, by the way. So.
Damn. Yeah. So yeah, I think obviously any other questions that people do have, just obviously me and Kish, we're always online. I mean, we might not respond straight away because we might be in a call or busy on something else. But if you've got a question that needs answering, either our mods will answer it on any of the socials, and if they can't answer it, they'll come to us and we'll either give them an answer or to give to you, or we'll answer to talk to you directly. But yeah, hopefully this our first AMA hasn't gone too badly, and you've managed to get a bit of an insight of what we're about and what we're doing. And yeah, that we're not just anonymous people, we're hardworking, passionate people about what we're doing. And yeah, we want to just keep going. And the coin will follow. The more steps we take to succeed in delivering our platform, the more everything else is going to fall into place for our early investors. So yeah. Hold tight, really.
Yeah, I just want to finish off by saying, thank you to everyone who believes in the project, and even more so to the ones that stuck with us through the turbulence of the first week. Thank you for liking every tweet, responding to any incorrect FUD coming our way from the keyboard experts, for putting up with a constant Reddit shilling. You guys are a pretty good community. It's an honor working for you. But most of all, thank you to the mods who are kind of keeping us sane and letting us focus on getting the business side of things completed. Yeah. Done.
Perfect. Cool.